Welcome back to our story time adventure. Today, we're joining Tim and Zip for an extraordinary tale. Last time, Tim and Zip arrived at a magical space house. As they settled in, a bright silver door slid open with a cheerful ding. Inside, glowing boxes floated, rings spun in the air, boots with tiny stars twinkled, and strange tools hummed with energy. Just then, Momo appeared in a shimmer of colours. These, Momo announced proudly, are space gadgets. Some are just for fun, and some can help people on Earth too. Tim's eyes sparkled with excitement. Do I get to use them? Of course, said Momo, but first training at all. Gentle figure stepped forward. He wore a long coat covered with glowing symbols that looked like constellations. I'm Mr. Zodiac, he said kindly, your extraterrestrial teacher. Mr. Zodiac patiently taught Tim how to use all the amazing gadgets safely. There were gravity boots that let him jump incredibly high but always land as gently as a feather. He learned to use light gloves that could fix broken things with just a touch, and a special learning lens that showed him how any machine worked, right down to the tiniest gear. Zip, the clever little robot, learned too. He practiced with something called energy mapping, which let him see the flow of power in any device. He mastered translation waves, allowing him to understand any language and send out repair signals that could mend electronics from a distance. Sometimes Zip learned even faster than Tim. Student Zip is progressing at remarkable speed, Mr. Zodiac noted with a smile. Zip beeped proudly, his little lights flashing. I enjoy learning, he chirped. Momo watched them both with a warm expression. Remember, she said, some of these skills can be used back on Earth to help children, not to show off. Tim looked at Momo with serious eyes and nodded. I promise. After many days of exciting training, the space house began its gentle journey back toward Earth. It travelled silently through the stars and landed quietly near a place called Karachi town here. Rows of small mud huts stood under the hot sun. Children played in the dusty streets with broken toys, and some carried heavy buckets of water instead of school bags. Seeing this, Tim felt a tight, sad feeling in his chest. They don't have much, he whispered, looking at the scene. This, said Mr. Zodiac softly, is where helping begins. Without hesitating, Tim put on his light gloves. He walked over to a broken water pump that had been dry for a long time. With a gentle touch, a beam of light flowed from his gloves, and suddenly, clean, fresh water gushed out. The villagers who had gathered round gasped in surprise and joy. Meanwhile, Zip flew up to the roof of a small school building that had been damaged. He sent out his special repair signals, and before everyone's eyes, the cracks mended and the roof became strong and whole again. The children below clapped their hands and laughed with delight. But Tim knew the gadgets weren't the most important thing. He shared his learning lens with the kids, showing them fun, interactive ways to understand numbers, shapes, and amazing stories. Animated figures danced and explained difficult ideas in a simple way. These are things you can learn anywhere, Tim told them, his voice full of encouragement, even without gadgets. Your minds are the most powerful tools you have. One small boy with big, curious eyes looked up at Tim and asked, you came from the stars? Tim laughed. A warm and friendly sound. Maybe, but I'm just a kid like you who loves to learn and help. As the sun began to set, casting a warm, golden glow over Karachi town, the little mud hut seemed to shine with a newfound hope. Tim and Zip stood together, watching the happy children and their grateful parents. Mission successful, Zip said softly, his voice full of satisfaction. Tim smiled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the sun. And we're not bored anymore, he said. We're useful. High above in the twilight sky, Momo watched them proudly. She knew that real heroes don't just explore the vastness of space, they bring light and help wherever they land. And for Tim and Zip, this was just the beginning of their incredible journey. What an amazing adventure! Tim and Zip learned that the greatest power is the power to help others. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more wonderful stories. See you next time.